Hi guys, I thought I'd just show everybody how I've gone about magnetising the new Grey Knight Terminators. With the first group that I've done, it was a bit of a learning experience. My first attempt at magnetising really anything aside from a Storm Raven that I bought before I started the Grey Knight army. So a few of the magnetisations for this squad don't hold quite as well as I would hope, because I used 1mm by 1.5mm magnets for some of the joints, and they don't hold. They hold the weapons, but they don't hold them quite as strong as is really needed on the tabletop. I'll do a quick edit onto the end of this video and show you my second squad where I've made improvements. But with the first guy, you'll notice he's got no head because he can be used for the apothecary. So I've made it so that there is a 3mm by 1mm magnet that has been drilled and glued inside the neck, and I had to cut off the neck of the actual head so that it would sit flush, and all that is a 1mm magnet in there, because the 3mm magnet gives so much pull that, well, it's not going anywhere really. So his head goes on. Then with the backpack attachment that goes with the apothecary, I added a 2mm by 1mm magnet, which you may be able to just about make out if I can catch it's the metallic piece right in the middle that's shining. Sorry, this camera isn't as good as I'd hope it would be. And then there is another magnet of the same size that I cut out the bump that is situated on their backpacks, and I replaced it on this one with a magnet, so that sits on quite nicely. And then his Narthasium arm has a 2mm by 1mm magnet, and the shoulder has a 3mm magnet in it again. I find the 3mm magnets work well in the gun arm, because then any of the Terminators can be used for heavy weapons without the problem of the weapons pulling the arms into a weird angle, and it holds nice and firm even with a heavier arm. And then all of the individual weapon customization options that you can put into the other hand. The falchions are a bit fiddly, so I'll move them out of the way. But with the 1mm, I very much doubt you'll be able to see it, but the tiny black dot you can see in his wrist, that is the 1mm magnet, and I believe it's a 1mm magnet inside his arm as well, which, damn it. It's hard doing this with one hand. See, he will hold the weapon, but the problem is that the magnet doesn't hold amazingly strong. So even, see, just with a little knock, the magnet's gone. So a little bit of an improvement with my second team was that I replaced basically all of the 1mm magnets with 2mm magnets, or sometimes even 3mm magnets because I was running low. But I've even had to go down to, for the bolter arms, you can see the little lump that's in front of the Storm Bolter, where you can take the falchions. I had to make it so that there was a magnet inside the bolter hand as well, so that I can add all the hands if I'm not going to be taking the falchions, so that the hands are just empty instead. And they click on and they hold just fine, because they're such a small piece of plastic it doesn't bother them. And the falchions for 1mm magnets aren't too bad either, because they're not that heavy either. But when it comes to the Nemesis warding staff, the heavy weapons, the halberds, which are awesome, and the Nemesis demon hammer, and also the banner, but the banner has got a 3mm magnet in the back of it. The other weapons are all far too heavy, and that demon head really. But the weapons are far too heavy for the 1mm magnet. They always try and make themselves fall out with the slightest bit of cohesion. To make the banner stay, I ended up having to use a 3mm magnet in the wrist of one of the Terminators in the best pose that I could put so that he would hold the flag facing forwards. And I also had to put a 3mm magnet in there for the maximum amount of pull, otherwise I found that the banner would keep trying to spin out of control. And so that snaps on quite nicely, and it can't go absolutely anywhere. Even if you face it down, it can't fall off. The magnet's perfectly fine, nothing's going to happen. And so yeah, the heavy weapons arms, I'll just take the banner back off. The heavy weapons arms, there is a 2mm magnet in the arm, and the normal 3mm magnet in the shoulder, like I've done with all the Terminators. So the arm will just snap on. And then any of the heavy weapons, they all come with, it's a different shape for each weapon, but there's like a trench that's cut into the part of the moulding process, I'd assume, but that's been cut into each one of the weapons. You can see it's like the black mark next to the magnet on each one of them, and this one's quite large. But all I did was, it's the forward area of each one of these holes. Just drill it out, prop in a magnet, and job done. They all sit on just fine, they're not going to go anywhere. I only wish that the box set came with more than one heavy weapons arm, really. Yeah, so I'll just cut here, and I'll try my best to tag on to the end of this video my improved Terminators once I've set those out. Okay, and as I said, second part of my video, these ones are all unpainted at the moment because I've been trying to improve the magnetisation. They've all got the same 3mm magnet in the left hand socket, and on inside their wrist, very carefully cut out bore out virtually the entirety of their wrist to fit in a 3mm magnet in there, so that now the heavier weapons, so the halberd, will go on and can't go absolutely anywhere. All the right arm weapons are all basically exactly the same because I didn't really have much problem with those. So yeah, upgraded it all to a 3mm magnet in this side, so even like the Thunder Hammer, which was a big problem for the other magnets to hold, is now no problem whatsoever. The banner is also fine because I figured that out first time as well. So the power swords, the warding staff, none of it's an issue anymore. They all hold, they're not going anywhere. And I did the alternate head magnetisation on one of my guys again, because that way I can use them as a librarian if I choose to as well. So yeah, really for the Terminators you only want to go with 3mm by 1mm and 2mm by 1mm neodymium magnets is what I used for all of these. The 1 by 1.5 I would say should really only be used for troops, for like regular Marines and stuff like that, guys without anything that's really big and clunky and heavy. So yeah, I hope this was at least helpful to someone. If you want to leave a comment or ask a question, stick it below and I'll reply as soon as I can. Thanks.